Ladies and gentlemen, it's quite obvious at this point you've probably already heard the news that Kobe Bryant passed away this morning. Him and his daughter were in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. Obviously, this is a huge blow to the NBA community, the world, the United States. Kobe Bryant was a role model for not just NBA players and young athletes, but to everybody. And so our hearts here at Sports really go out for the Bryant family. And they're obviously having a terrible day. And you know, we wish them the best. So with that being said, good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the program, we are going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, which is now only 1 week away. We're going to update you on the NHL and NBA, all the action going on there. Derek Jeter making it into the Hall of Fame. Congrats, Jeet. Always there for you. And a lot of other crazy stuff that's gone on this week in the sports world. So stick with us, friends, because sports starts now. And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you that are new to the program, we like to take all the sports news and information from the previous week and give you some insight onto what could be happening over the next week. If you like what you hear, please find us on SoundCloud. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Woo! Twitter, YouTube, and my favorite, the Facebook. Darn hiccups, they're getting me again. It's good. We're all good. It's fine. Oh, man. So, okay, I haven't been here the last 2 weeks. Totally get that. It's been a little nuts, mostly because I've been sick, and also getting my other podcast, Big Spoon, Little Spoon, Volume 2, off the ground. Myself and my co-host for that show, Jamie Grum, we were editing all day last Sunday and recording and getting things prepared. So we're very excited for Volume 2 to launch in the next week or two. So fans of me and my voice and want to hear me talk about things that aren't sports, flip on over to that show as well. Again, it's called Big Spoon, Little Spoon. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting apps. Whew. Okay. Obviously, the sports world is reeling a little bit today from the news of Kobe Bryant. And myself, I myself was completely shocked to hear about this. I was texting people. I didn't know what to think. Less than 15 hours prior to that, LeBron James happened to pass him on the all-time points list. So, congratulations to LeBron. Obviously, we know he's broken up about this whole thing. Him and Kobe were very close. LeBron, in fact, it was very nice the night before, after surpassing him, was talking about Kobe Bryant and his experiences with him as a teenager, meeting him at camps and seeing him play in the All-Star game in Philly, right here where believe it or not, that's where Kobe Bryant's from. In fact, I work maybe a block or two away from Lower Merion High School in Ardmore, PA, which is where Kobe went to school. So, obviously there's a lot to unpack about this whole thing. Honestly, it made me sick to my stomach hearing about it. So I figure we can move on today, and because we do have to talk about other things. There is a Super Bowl coming up, Super Bowl 54, right? Really exciting stuff. So the Chiefs and the 49ers coming out on top, right? The Chiefs somehow managed to end the crazy running situation in Tennessee. I mean, Derrick Henry literally carried the team on his back and came after the Chiefs, and it was awesome. But all good things have to end. We didn't really think the Titans were going to the Super Bowl, did we? I mean, it's Pat Mahomes. The guy is on fire right now. Absolutely on fire. And the receivers, honestly, the 49ers are going to have to do a whole lot to slow down the Chiefs. I think this is their Super Bowl to lose. Don't expect to see too much from Garoppolo. I think the 49ers have a really good running game. I think they're going to really try to lean on that. It'll certainly slow the Chiefs down, but Garoppolo, I think, is going to be the big key to this game. If he's got to have a phenomenal game and keep up with Pat and Mahomes for the 49ers to win this thing. So me personally, I'm going with the Chiefs. However, I'm really excited for this game. I mean, it's two teams, both absolutely deserving of a Super Bowl. Both teams with young quarterbacks who are the future. I mean, this could be a Super Bowl we talk about 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when these guys are breaking records, they're in the twilights of their careers, whatever it may be. This could be the Super Bowl that really starts it all for either franchise. And so I, for one, think that that's really cool. And I'm just hoping for a good game, right? Doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just got to be a good game. Okay, moving on. We're going to talk a little baseball. Obviously, the Astros, this whole thing with the Astros has been insane. Oh my God, where do I even start? They fired A.J. Hinch. Alex Cora got fired. Beltran stepped down from the Mets just based on this whole thing. The people in Los Angeles, if it wasn't bad enough today, they're already fuming about this whole thing with the Dodgers, who should have won 2 World Series. The LA Dodgers should have 2 World Series right now unless the Yankees were to take it from them. Because remember, the Yankees were also dispatched by both of those teams in those seasons. And really this year too with the Astros. What really hurt though was actually seeing the game where, Fears, who had figured out what was going on, to watching that game and hearing the drums, the banging of the trash cans. It's unbelievable. You have to find this video of, anytime, you could see it. Anytime there's a fastball, you hear nothing. Any off-speed pitch, and you just hear bang, bang coming from the dugout. It's sickening to watch. Does every team cheat? We don't know. And that's been the rally cry right now from at least Astros fans, is that this, and Red Sox fans, is that this could be happening across the board. But I just don't see it that way. You don't hear about other teams or players speaking up that their teams were cheating. You're just hearing about this situation. I think that the Astros and maybe and even the Red Sox could have been punished further for this. I don't know if you could really take away the memory of winning a world championship. It certainly cheapens that championship. Put an asterisk next to it or something. They do lose picks for a couple of years, $5 million. They both had to fire their coaches. They didn't have to do that. They did it because it was the right move. But I mean, some of these players who were involved as well got nothing. Slap on the wrist, not risk, and that's the part that really bothers me is like Jose Altuve. There was the video of him rounding the bases and telling people, don't rip off my shirt with some phony excuse of, my wife doesn't want me to take my shirt off. I think he was wearing an undershirt under there. I would think so. I don't know. But either way, then the thought comes up of, who was it? Somebody's random niece. Oh my gosh, whose niece was it? Verlander? I don't know. Somebody who plays for the Astros kept posting on Twitter about how Altuve would wear like a device on his arm that would vibrate. Somebody was click a button when it was an off-speed pitch, something like that. I'm very curious to see what the Astros look like this season. After 3 straight years of 100+ wins, what are they going to look like this season when we know they're not doing this anymore? Because they're going to be under pressure, and everybody's going to be watching. Who knows? You could be seeing a very, very bad team. You very well could. And you had the whole thing with Verlander, who was on the podium and making remarks about how the Astros were ahead of their time statistically and analytically. Just weird stuff. This has been a weird couple of weeks in the sports world. Two big rumors that have been popping around lately. Mookie Betts could be on the move, and the Padres and Dodgers are very much interested. For the love of God, don't send him to the Dodgers. They have enough. Send him to the Padres. Sure. I mean, Machado and Mookie Betts together, that'd be a pretty nasty 1-2 punch. I don't think it'd be enough for the Padres to go anywhere with it, but it would be interesting. And Nick Castellanos could be on his way as well to the Cincinnati Reds. Reds, of course, are in the middle of a kind of rebuild mode right now themselves. So pitchers and catchers report in a couple weeks, and I will be at spring training this year, at least for a couple games for the New York Yankees and the New York Baseball Mets. So I'll be in Port St. Lucie, and then I'll be at the Yankees-Nationals game in, are they in West Palm? Somewhere around Palm Beach area. I'll be there for that. So I am very excited for those games, and maybe I'll get some cool autographs, get to meet a couple of the players, and we'll become best friends, and we'll go out for drinks. And all right, I'm going too far here. Speaking of best friends, my good buddy Derek Jeter made it to the Hall of Fame. He was elected with 99% of the vote. One human being, 340-something, whatever, one, decided that Derek Jeter was not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. Come on. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There was an adage for many years that you don't vote for a first-time ballot Hall of Famer. And more and more people have gotten away from that as some of the older writers and voters have been pushed out, and some of the younger folks have come in. And really, I thought it was going to be over with the Mariano Rivera debate. I mean, unanimous. He was in the Hall of Fame, and for good reason. Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer ever. There's nobody you can even compare him to. He was that good. Derek Jeter, fantastic player of his generation. 5 world championship. I mean, the guy's done it all. But can you say he's the best shortstop ever? That's where things get debatable. Totally get that. But I mean, for everything he's done for the game, being the face of baseball and the Yankees for so long, that one guy, I want to know who that is. Like, come on, man. What were you thinking? I gotta know. Someone's going to find out. And when the world does find out who it is, that dude's getting his door slammed down. Like, there are going to be so many angry New Yorkers giving that guy you know what. So, yeah. All right, cool. So, let's take a break. And when we return, we're going to talk baseball. Oh my goodness. We're going to talk hockey, and we're going to talk basketball. A lot of crazy stuff happened this weekend. LeBron, obviously, passing late Kobe Bryant on the all-time scoring list. And NHL, All-Star Weekend, was this weekend. And Patrick Kane had himself an interesting day with St. Louis. And so we'll go with that when we return. Stick with us, friends. Sports. We will be right back. Hello, friends. I'm Nick Drago. Yes, you know me from Sports with Nick Drago. But did you know I had another podcast? It's true. I do. It's called Big Spoon, Little Spoon. Myself and my good buddy Jamie Grum like to discuss, well, everything. Random topics from the future to the Wild West to what the heck are lanternflies. We talk about it all. So if you're interested in some fun and entertaining entertainment, join us on Big Spoon, Little Spoon. We pick a random topic out of a hat. We talk about it, knowing no knowledge of what it's going to be before we pick that topic out of the hat. And then we do a little bit of research, come back and see what we learned. So if you're interested, check us out. Again, it's called Big Spoon, Little Spoon. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting apps. You can find us on YouTube, on the Facebook. You can also email us with ideas that you want us to talk about on the show. Email us at wehateforks@gmail.com. Again, wehateforks@gmail.com. Plus, we got Volume 2 coming out in the new year. So check back at the end of January. At the end of January, we're going to have some new episodes for you. But you can check out Volume 1 in the meantime right here. Well, not right here, but right now at this moment. Just not after you finish this podcast, then go listen to that one. All right, thanks, friends. Hope you enjoy the rest of this show, but there's another good one out there, too. All right, I'm done now. All right, and welcome back to the show. Let me move that a little bit out of the way. How's that? Better? Great. All right, let's talk a little bit NBA. So NBA action, of course, went on this weekend. Raptors beat the Knicks 118-112. Nice game for Kyle Lowry. Knicks still without R.J. Barrett as he's been sidelined with an injury for the time being. Bucks beating the Hornets 116-103 thanks to 30 points by Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Malik Monk had 31 points, by the way, for the Hornets. Grizzlies beat the Pistons 125-112. Another big game for the Grizzlies. Celtics beat the Magic 109-98. Kemba Walker had 6 3-pointers in this one, 37 points overall. The Celtics continue to surge. Kings beat the Bulls 98-81. Buddy Hield, 21 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist for him off the bench. Nice work for our good buddy. Thunder beat the Hawks 140, to 101. Gallinari, man, I love that guy. He's still going strong. 25 points, him and SGA combined for 49 altogether. Thunder get a very big win over the Hawks. Trae Young with 26 points himself. Rockets beat the Timberwolves 131-124. Russell Westbrook, 45 points for Houston. Meanwhile, James Harden can't make a 3-pointer to save his life. I think he's maybe 20 for his last 100 3-point attempts. The dude is horrible. Nuggets beat the Pelicans 113-106. Clippers, they get a win over the Heat, 122-117. Huge win for Kawhi Leonard. He gets a triple-double, 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. His first ever triple-double versus the Heat. Suns beat the Spurs. Hello. Things got a little nutty on my screen here. That's all good. Suns beat the Spurs 103-99. Devin Booker with a big game, 35 points himself. Pacers beat the Warriors 129-118. And let's go up just a little bit so we can take a look at Saturday's games. There we are. So the Nets, they get a win over the Pistons, 121-111. Kyrie Irving, 45 points in that one. Jazz beat the Mavericks, 112-107. Bulls got a win over the Cavs, 118-106. Thunder beating the Timberwolves, 113-104. And the 76ers get the best of the Lakers, 108-91. Huge game for the Sixers. Of course, the big news was that LeBron passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list. We did talk about that earlier in the show, but that's a huge win for the 76ers, beating the Lakers. And then let's take a look real quick at Sunday. By the way, on Sunday, all the teams in play had a 24-second violation in memory of Kobe Bryant. So the Knicks got a win. Kyrie Irving didn't play, so that kind of helps. But the Knicks beat the Nets 110-97. Nuggets get a win over the Rockets 117-110. Westbrook, another huge game for him. Raptors barely squeaked by the Spurs 110-106. Hawks beat the Wizards. 152-133. Trae Young, 45 points. Bradley Beal with 40 points. These two, man, cool. That was just cool. 152 points. Grizzlies beat the Suns 114-109, and the Pelicans, they get a win over the Celtics 123 to 108. You also have the Clippers and Magic. Clippers got a win 112 to 97. And then a late game tonight is the Pacers and the Trailblazers. And let's see those standings. The Milwaukee Bucks still on top, 40-6. Raptors behind them, 32-14. 8 games behind them. The Bucks are just unbelievable right now. The Heat are 31-14. Boston Celtics 30-15. Pacers 30-16. 76ers at 30-17. I almost said the 49ers. And the Magic at 21-26. Yep, that's right. And the Nets at 19-26. Moving down the line, you got teams like the Bulls, the Pistons. They're only 2 games back. And you got the Wizards, Hornets with 15 wins. The Knicks at 13 wins. Cavs at 12, and the Hawks at 12. What really scares me here, the Hawks already have Trae Young. They're going to get another big top pick in the upcoming draft. Or at least they have a better percentage chance of getting one. You know how this thing goes. I ended up going to the Pelicans last year, and we all see how that turned out. Zion, holy cow, in his debut. He looked pretty crummy for the first 3 quarters, but then he came out strong towards the end. Zion's proven to be everything that the Pelicans wanted him to be. And before we move on, let's also look at the West. Lakers, of course, on top of the standings, 36-10. The Jazz at 32-13. Clippers at 33-14. Nuggets at 32-14. Mavs at 28-17. Rockets 28-17. Thunder at 28-19. They're on a 5-game winning streak, by the way. And then you got the Grizzlies at 22-24. Spurs are 2 games behind them. Trailblazers and Suns both have 19 wins. Pelicans at 18. Kings at 16. Timberwolves at 15. And the Golden State Warriors, another team that should not have any business having a really good chance at the first pick, they're at 10-37, hoping to maybe keep that dynasty going a little bit longer. Right now, the Jazz they're on a 4-game streak. They're 9-1 in their last 10, and they are catching up to the Lakers. Lakers haven't looked as great in their last 10 games, so there is a chance that they could lose the top spot, but you never really know. Let's take a look at the schedule this week. So a couple big games. Monday night, I'm going to be watching the Houston-Utah game. Both teams are in prime position right now and looking to move up. Like I said, Utah's in second. Houston was a little bit further down. I don't even remember already, which is kind of sad for my memory. Mavericks and Oklahoma City. That should also be a fun one, so I would tune into that. Chicago and San Antonio on Monday as well. Both teams are just on the outskirts of a playoff spot, so tune in to that matchup as well. Tuesday, you got Miami and Boston. Oh, yes. Do I want to see that game? 2 really fierce teams going at it. Never going to want to miss that one. And then you got the Clippers and the Lakers. Very fitting. That's on Tuesday. I would certainly watch that. Lakers will be the home team for that matchup. On Wednesday, it looks like you have Portland and Houston, I guess. Not too many exciting matchups Wednesday, which is surprising. And then moving on to Thursday, you have the Jazz taking on the Nuggets. I would certainly want to see that one. Both teams are, I think the Nuggets are in 4th right now. And that brings us over to Friday. So a lot of tough teams. The Jazz themselves have 2 really tough matchups this week. They do have a powder puff in the middle. I think they play Sacramento. Yes, they do. No. Where's Utah? San Antonio. So I wouldn't call them a power puff. But comparing to a team like the Nuggets, yeah, they're a good warm-up, tune-up game. Either way, really exciting matchups this week that I certainly would want to tune into. And we, of course, had the NHL All-Star Game was this weekend. A lot of exciting things happened there. They had the ladies of the WNHL playing in their own little 3-on-3 All-Star Game, which I think was awesome to see. And I really hope that we get to see more of that. You had the Kachuk brothers on the ice together, which I thought was really cool. You had Patrick Kane scoring a goal for his division in front of the St. Louis Blues fans, who immediately cheered because they're also in the same division, and then started booing when they realized, oh, we're cheering for Patrick Kane. That just doesn't work out. But the games were good. They were fun. Obviously, you could tell like a team like the Metropolitan, who is missing guys like Ovechkin and Evgeny Malkin. It hurt a little bit, but overall, really exciting All-Star game, and I love the NHL All-Star game. I honestly do. The other All-Star games, I'm like, I could give or take. Like the Pro Bowl. I didn't even talk about the Pro Bowl today because it's the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares about it. I'm sorry. I can't care about it, especially 1 week before the Super Bowl. That's all I'm going to care about is the Super Bowl. Okay, all right, we're not going to go off the rails here. We're going to ignore it. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the NHL standings because we do have matchups starting again this week. Pardon me. Boston Bruins on top in the Atlantic, of course, 70 points. The Lightning, they have been pushing hard to get into this spot. Remember, they were like not dead last, but they were pretty low in the standings for a very long time this season. And now here they are in second at 62 points and a few games behind the Bruins as well. Panthers at 61, Maple Leafs at 57. They also they've been kind of up and down this year. They should be better. And then you got the Sabres at 51, Montreal Canadiens at 51, Senators at 42, and the Red Wings at 28. Going to the Metro side, the Capitals are on top at 71, Pittsburgh Penguins at 67, then you got the Islanders 63, Jackets at 62, Hurricanes at 61, Flyers at 60, the Rangers at 50, and at number 41 is the New Jersey Devils. So Capitals and Penguins pretty close. Pens are only 2 wins behind them, and only about 4 or 5 points behind the Capitals as well. The Caps have played 1 less game, so expect to see some really fun back and forth between them as we get through the last 2 months of the season or so. Moving into the West, the St. Louis Blues are on top of the Central at 68 points. They finally reclaimed that spot, but they're 5-3-2 in their last 10, and that's not very good. Avalanche at 62, the Stars at 58, the Blackhawks at 54, the Jets at 54, the Wild at 52, and the Nashville Predators at 51. This whole division is an absolute logjam. The Blackhawks were in dead last a few weeks ago. Now they're 6-4 in their last 10, and they're close to. I don't think they have a wild card spot just yet, but they're getting pretty close to one. Whereas the Jets should be much better than they are. The Wild should be better. The Nashville Predators should be better. This whole division is just topsy-turvy at the moment, and the Blues are starting to hit a hot streak that would remind us of what happened last year around this time when they just went off from January all the way through to the Stanley Cup Finals. In the Pacific, you have the Canucks on top, followed by the Oilers, the Flames, Coyotes at 50. I'm sorry, Canucks at 58, Oilers at 57, Flames at 57, Coyotes at 57, Golden Knights at 57, and then you got the Sharks at 46, the Ducks at 43, and the Kings at 41. So you have 5 teams all within 1 point of first place. This is fun. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in a division. Is that these 5 teams, the Golden Knights could win tomorrow and be up in first place. Right now they're in 5th in the Pacific. All 5 at the moment would get into the playoffs, wild card, whatever it may be, and then they'd get to duke it out with each other. That's really cool to see. Really, really cool. So keep close eyes on the Pacific because they're going to be the conference to watch, I think. There's no major franchise emerging from there right now. You have to think the Canucks are at 58 points. That's 10 behind at least the next closest division leader. So I don't think you're looking at a future NHL champion, but just to see how this goes, really fun stuff. Really fun. Why don't we take a look at the schedule now? All right, moving into Monday, we got Tampa Bay and Dallas. That's going to be an exciting game. 2 teams who are pushing for the playoff spot. St. Louis and Vancouver, both number 1 right now in their division, so I would certainly check that one out. Moving into Tuesday, you got St. Louis playing Calgary, so another exciting matchup for them. So they're going to have a busy week this week. Wednesday's games, you have Toronto playing Dallas. You have Edmonton and Calgary. You got... Well, that's about it for that. Edmonton-Calgary should be fun. Again, they're both tied right now with 57 points, so the winner could make a big jump in that division. Moving down a little bit, Thursday's games are pretty boring, and then that brings us to Friday, where the Pittsburgh Penguins return to the ice to play Philadelphia. And last time they played, Philadelphia blanked them 0-3-0. So maybe we'll get to see a reverse. Who knows? You also had St. Louis and Edmonton playing. You have Boston, who's going to beat the snot out of Winnipeg. And you got Vegas playing Carolina, so another playoff matchup there. So certainly a lot of games to watch and unpack this week. I would get a little popcorn, maybe a little Stanley Cup-shaped beer stein, and just enjoy some great hockey. All right, friends, with that, we're going to close out the show. Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She is the content editor, logo designer, and set designer for this podcast. Special thanks, of course, to Josh Woodward. The song Golden Sunrise is the music you hear for this podcast, and it's made by him. A link to his website can be found in the show notes. Also, ESPN for allowing us to use some of their graphics. Thanks, ESPN. We love you. I'm just kidding. I love ESPN. And our super fans out there, Joe Calabro and Mary Kay Albert and Jorge Pajares, who I texted today with this whole thing. Scott Roberts, who ended up on the Jumbotron at the Wolfpack game this weekend. Good for you, Scott. Wearing a Whalers jersey and everything. Love it. And, all right, well, if you like what you heard today, find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, and the Facebook. You can email me, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Again, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. And with that, you can like, share, comment, tweet me, and bleep me and stuff. I don't know. Just do all those fun social media things that I have no idea how they work, and they all go right over my head, but it doesn't matter because you know how they work, and they don't go over your head. So, folks, tune in next week when we have the Super Bowl winner, and, I'll probably do an episode before the Super Bowl or something. I haven't really figured that part out yet. But you'll see me again real soon. Have a howdy doody day, friend amigos.